morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on when you're watching this video. My name is Anna Partners. Just to remind you that last year we had our very first edition of the Citizen Rising Woman Initiative, with the aim of empowering and inspiring young female who wants to become leaders in the future. So we have been conducting interviews with different women who have succeeded in their career journey. With me today to talk about women empowerment is Miss Abella Tarimo, who is Head of Customer Experience here at NMB Bank. So we're going to talk about a lot of things. Please be with us through this entire interview. I know for sure you're going to learn a lot of things. So my name is Anna Partners and I welcome you all. Hi, Abella.
Hi, Anna.
How are you?
I'm great.
You look amazing.
Thank you. You do as well.
Thank you very much. Okay, so you are Head of Customer Experience here at NMB Bank. Please tell us in short, what do you do here?
Okay, what do I do? Mainly to understand customers' needs and expectations, and then make sure that the bank sets up the right systems, the right processes, and equip staff with the right knowledge to be able to meet and even exceed customers' expectations.
Okay, that's good. As time goes, the number of women in leadership position is growing up compared to how we were back in the days. So I would like to know from you, did you always know like you be where you are today, like when you started your career? Is this what was your dream, or it just happened?
So before I share my story, let me begin with a quote by Ben Sanders. Growth only comes from adversity and from challenges, from stepping away from what is comfortable and familiar and stepping out to the unknown. First, in hindsight, if I look back in my childhood, I was mainly surrounded by male cousins, and my competitive spirit, I think still is very, very strong. And I used to outrun them in most of the races. So we ran around the house, and most of the time I would win them. And I really didn't actually notice the gender differences or limitations until much, much, much later. So that's one. And secondly, my mother, who was a public servant, both my parents were actually. My mother was a teacher with her very soft, gentle voice, used to firmly, repeatedly say, "Let education be your first husband." Okay. Yeah, and I think that also stuck in me. Then my father, I'm firstborn in 5 kids, and typically fathers tend to be their daughter's first love.
Yeah, I would say that's true. I have like a kind of relationship with my father, like it's like this.
Yes, you could sort of tell him anything. You feel like he's your friend.
Yes.
So he was a very strong supporter, and I feel like he was also one of a strong pillar. So I wanted to actually go into the career that was in here. Eventually, he had actually a construction and real estate. And I then started actually a degree in civil engineering with the aim that once I finish, I'll come and join him in the family business. 2 years in the degree, my dad passed away, and given that he was the sponsor of my education, I had to come back. So I came back to Tanzania, and I joined Deloitte as a personal assistant. It was a balancing act. So I was working. Yes. I was also managing family finances because my dad passing away, so I had to manage. Yes, being firstborn, I had to manage the family assets, and also it meant also for me to oversee that my younger sisters and brother finished their education. Yeah. At the same time, I had to end my degree because obviously then my career would be short-lived. And I think that is where that adaptability to change really has helped me that in my career path, I've been what I'll call a changeling and become a change agent. So I've worked as a system administrator, business analyst, project management, strategy, company secretary.
What have you not done?
Yeah, so I believe that careers do not necessarily have to be linear, and I think I didn't really have that vision that my vision was construction and real estate, but here I am today in financial sector. Yeah.
That's amazing. You have an interesting story. Let's get back to women empowerment and all that. Well, as a female leader, I know you have men that you you give orders to, they're listening to you and everything else. I would like to know, what would you say is your leadership style? How do you lead others? And how is it different from your male counterparts?
Wow, okay. First of all, for me, leadership is really about getting the job done through inspiring others. And therefore, and then I think the other bit is my history, my personal history. I love change. I love transformation, given my background. So I would say my dominant style is transformational leadership. But again, because life is so dynamic, career is so dynamic, I also adapt to situations and people. So sometimes I collaborate more, and sometimes when there's little room for error, I am very direct, like instructive or authoritarian. So yes, I can be that.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it is a good thing which you learn over time, but in the beginning you tend to feel that as a woman maybe you shouldn't.
But I shouldn't do this. Yeah.
And I think those are the areas when you work with men, sometimes it can be a muscle that you have to build over time. Yeah, so, but otherwise I think leadership is also a personal journey that I would differ from any other lady, a woman, and I would definitely differ from a male. I don't think it's necessarily that you have the same, apart from the non-leadership style, which I'm transformative, but transformational. But again, I also adapt to situations and people. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. But you talked about your story, your journey, your career journey to where you are today. I know you have had some challenges throughout your career journey, but if you'll be kind enough to tell us, like, maybe some of the personal sacrifice that you had to make to make you be who you are today.
Sacrifices, yeah.
Obviously, you had to make some sacrifices.
Yes, there have been quite a few. Yeah, and so which one should I talk about?
That one.
I think let me talk about becoming a parent and that balancing act between parenting and career.
Yes.
So I had a very smooth pregnancies for both my my kids. I have a son and a daughter.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. So after my pregnancy, first of all, during my pregnancy, actually, very early days of my pregnancy, I got a role in sales and distribution. And remember, my background is IT. So it was a totally new role. It had extensive travel. So, a lot of self-doubt and fears. And therefore, I really worked hard, just to
prove
yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I had to prove myself. To myself first, so that I have that confidence, but also to others that I can actually do this job. I deserve it. It's not a token, but rather really something that I deserve. I have the credibility. So I had to build that credibility. But then, after I had my child, that
everything changed.
Yes. That beautiful moment when I looked at this bundle of joy.
And they say things change when you see your baby. I don't have a kid yet, but they say when you see your kid, like everything changes in that moment.
Yeah, my sister said that you see your heart walking, and it's true.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
It's
You don't even know how to explain it. I understand.
Yeah. So when I had my child, I just decided, you know what, it doesn't matter what else is going in the world. I'm going to do all that I can to give this child of mine the best that there is. Mm-hmm. So first thing I decided, I would breastfeed exclusive for 6 months.
Okay.
And career became number 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think if I look back at sacrifices, I'll cite that as one where I made, and it is still very rewarding. It's not a sacrifice that I regret.
And you don't even regret it?
No, I will do it over and over again. Yeah. Yes,
okay.
for sure.
That's amazing. Okay, and what would you say that companies, what are the benefits that company may have by having female leaders?
Today,
Yes.
There's a word, VOCA.
VOCA.
Yes, VOCA. Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. VOCA. And that's the world that we live in today. And therefore it requires creativity, innovation to address the challenges and opportunities that we face in the world today. And research has shown that when you bring diverse people, and gender is one diverse aspect, there is more creativity because men and women tend to think differently, tend to approach things differently. So definitely for me, I think any organization, and also research actually backs that up, successful organizations have been seen to be those ones which have actually diverse group of people. Yeah. So I think diversity and inclusion, is actually a strategic advantage that companies can benefit from, especially at the leadership level. So notice that I said diversity and inclusion because gender equality is not just about placing women over men.
No.
Yeah. It is also not about just numbers, but it's actually bringing women on board and for their voices to be heard. So creating that conducive environment, yes. So if I could just cite a few, as I said, one is that innovation, problem solving, creativity, that is one. Secondly, which comes from again that diversity and inclusion and inclusivity and innovation, is higher employee engagement, which brings higher productivity. And then there's another one which I think for any organization is very, very key, is financial performance. Research shows, I think there's one research which was done by McKinsey Global Institute, which shows that annual GDP could grow between 11% to 26%, at minimum around 26 trillion US dollars by 2026, if we just have more of women. Yes, yeah. So I think those are that's a very strong, compelling business case. Yeah.
Okay. And what is it that motivated you to just step up and become a female leader, like doing what you're doing right now? Is it someone or something that motivated you? What is it?
I think a number of things, opportunity, growth. I've shared a bit about how in my life I had male cousins around me, and as I grew up I didn't really know the gender differences, but after I grew up towards puberty and above, started actually noticing those ones, and I think they informed me of the need to actually play a part into gender. But before I move to the gender and diversity, let me talk about banking sector.
Yes.
So if you look at the country today, about 80% of Tanzanians either own a mobile phone or have access to a mobile phone.
Yes.
But they might not necessarily have a bank account. Yes. And that inspires me that there is still a lot of opportunity in the banking sector. So what is it that stops, or what can we do to ensure that all Tanzanians who are eligible to own a bank account can actually have a bank account? And it's about, again, understanding customer needs and expectations and making sure that we can actually meet that. And that really is my inspiration at NMB. Now, for the diversity role, I'm chairperson of NMB Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Committee. And that is very personal. As I said, one, family background. My mom and dad were very supportive. There was really no difference, especially at young age. But as I grew up, I started noticing that society treated men and women very differently. For just one example is ladies, at least in our time, probably now it's not as strong, there's more focus on you being a good girl to get married.
Yes.
And therefore, you have to know what to do in the kitchen, household. Usipojua kupika utaolewa nani?
I'm telling you.
Yes, but for the men...
But don't you think that was a good thing? Because now people, the female or women who are getting married, and they don't even know how to cook even chai, tea. Did you know that?
I'm trying not to be controversial.
But there are women out there don't even know how to cook tea. I think it was a good thing. But anyway, I don't want to cut your point. Let's continue.
Yes, I think... Yes, but I think women should be allowed to make choices.
Of course.
Yeah, so for me, there are women that feel they don't necessarily have to be in the kitchen to have a successful life, and I think they should be allowed to make that choice.
Okay.
Yeah, because there are very good chefs in the world who are male. So clearly, you can have your husband, your brother taking care of the household, and you as a woman do other things. So I think that choice has to be there, and that really is one of the things that drives me. And why? As a parent, I have a son and a daughter. Yeah. And really, the one question that I ask myself is, what world am I creating?
And you raise them differently. Like, this is, okay, you're a girl, you have to do this, you're a boy, you have to do this. Or do you have, like, you raise them just, okay, you all have to do everything?
Everything. You should meet my daughter and then you'll get to understand.
How old is she?
She's 9.
Oh.
She's 9, and she, I have energy, but I think I can't meet her energy. She's completely very independent. I don't even think I have room to tell her that this is a role for women.
Do you think she got it from her mama?
I think yes. I would like to think so, as well as, you know, people around me. Yes, but I think yes, I instill that in her, and I would like for her to have that. I would love for my daughter to be brought up in a way that she believes she can do anything and she can reach her maximum potential. And then for my son, I would love for him to grow up knowing that he is privileged, but he also needs to create that environment that everybody can actually succeed. So if he can stand up for actually gender parity, I mean, that would be my proudest moment.
Okay, you talked about gender equality. I would like to know from you, how does NMB Bank Championship gender equality and gender equity here? Yes,
so how does NMB champion gender equality? A while ago, I think it was 2015, we realized that with very, very low women representation, especially as you go up higher the leadership rank, So we started a forum. First it started as a forum, and we've continued to build up the governance structure to today we have a fully fledged committee. So basically the role of the committee, it started as Women Arise. We've recently rebranded it to NMB Balance, and its role is really creating a conducive environment, a level playing field for women to advance. Some of the things that we've done, if I was to talk about a bit about tangible results we've actually been able to achieve, is to be able to not only have training and policies around what is needed to actually drive gender parity, but we've also actually partnered with, for example, ATE. So we send women leaders to go to ATE Female Future Program so that we can empower them with board competence and leadership skills. We've also partnered with the likes of Women World Bank, IFC, and many others to ensure that we actually have the right initiatives within the bank so that women can actually advance and excel. Of late, we are actually going for age certification, which is economic dividend for gender equality. It will be the first one in sub-Saharan Africa. And the main reason driving us to do that is to be able to actually have proper metrics, because as I said, NMB Balance, the Diversity and Equity and Inclusion Committee has a proper governance structure starting from the board. So we have a board patron, then we have a member of the executive committee who is a patron for the committee, and then the chief of HR also oversees the metrics around women representation. So today we've achieved 48% women representation, which, yeah, of 3,500 employees. It's a good number.
It is.
Yes, but we want to make sure that it is, one, sustainable, and actually we actually see the promotions. We've seen some. We have, for example, ladies who went at senior manager level. They went to ATE program. They were then promoted to head of department and now promoted to chief level. So we've already started seeing results, but we want to make sure we've got the right processes in place and framework so that it's actually sustainable. So that's one side for staff. The other bit is last year we launched NMB Jasiri, which is a platform to also give our customers, women customers, opportunities to be it getting into business or actually growing their business. So that's also our next focus, our next agenda. So to see that our mission as NMB is actually financial inclusion and financial well-being. So that's something that we are doing around women. And also, as you know, the country's agenda on women is actually economic justice. So that's how we're going to support that agenda, country agenda as well.
So I like the fact that not only does NMB looking at empowering women inside as staff and people who are working in NMB, but also you guys are looking at empower women out there who are using like NMB Bank and everything else. So I congratulate you guys on that one. But I'd like to know from you, do you think that women have broke the glass ceiling in Tanzania? As a female leader, I want to hear your perception on that.
Yeah, thank you. Very good question. With a female president, women ministers.
Yeah.
Do you see that list of women?
I'm telling you.
Yeah, so women ministers, several CEOs, you know, NMB CEO.
A lot of CEOs.
Yes, yeah. So do I believe that women have broken the glass ceiling and the glass walls?
You'd say yes.
Not really.
Not really. We're not yet.
No, I would say yes. We have made some progress, but I don't think we are where we can be. How many organizations do you know today that can actually claim 40% and above women representation in their workforce. And not only that, then when it comes to representation on top or senior management, how many can state that? So how many board chairperson are women? Yeah, you know. So, and yes, still we need to celebrate. For me, I think 2021 was an historical and defining moment. You know. And it's something to acknowledge that, yeah, we have made progress, but there's still quite a lot to do. Yeah, there's still quite a lot to do. There is still invisible biases. Yeah, we spoke a bit about as I grew up, yeah, mwanamke asiyejua kupika ataolewa na nani, and that becomes the top goal for a lady, while life isn't really about all that. As much as that is still the most, I mean, like among the most significant milestone of your life, but there is other elements as well. So I think still a lot of work to do around biases. And I was reading an article recently, and it spoke about how men and women are perceived. So women are seen as they're not ambitious, they are not assertive, and emotional. Okay. And the opposite of that, for women who are ambitious, they are labeled. For women who are assertive, you would hear words like Iron Lady. If it's spoken in good faith, you know, as a compliment, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. But most of the time, it's not really.
Yeah. Most of the time, it's and some people, male, actually, they're scared of like women who are like that, and like it's not a good thing, you guys.
Yeah,
no, it's not.
Yeah. So I think there's still a lot that we can do, and I think this year's theme, break the bias.
Break the bias.
Yes, it's again reminding us that yes, as much as we made progress, but there is still work to do. So this article also actually emphasized a few things, which I think it's important to just talk about them. It spoke about men being agentic and women being communal. Now, in agentic, for example, one of the things described is that men are achievement-oriented. So, I mean, which company doesn't want somebody who's achievement-oriented? So they are seen as able, they are seen as successful. Men are assertive, so dominant, forceful, and in a positive way, right? Yeah. And then that they have autonomy, so they have that independence, they can make decisions, they're self-reliant. But for women, we said communal, and then how are women described then? Nurturing, which I think it is a positive thing, but not when it's described as negative. So the caring aspect, and there are sometimes connotations that we shouldn't bring emotions to the office. And therefore, if you talk about nurturing, that nurturing aspect of women, then it's almost like don't bring that to the office. But it is needed. I think it is actually needed. It creates a balance and makes a very conducive workforce. So other descriptions are affiliative, so being social, being likable, which I think is needed as well in the office. We should be social, get the work done, but still be able to enjoy the work or enjoy the working environment. And then also, as I said, emotional and being seen as that as being too sensitive or tender and being. So I think we still need to work and talk, first of all, create awareness, talk about it and bring awareness about, you know, these biases, yeah.
Okay, so I think you answered my next question, because I wanted to ask you, like, what do you think should be done and how should men be involved in removing this, like, this theory that women cannot do this, men are like this, women are like, what should be done in the society and how can men be part of this and removing this problem? But I think you've answered that one.
Definitely bring men on board. We need to do that. This is not, as I said, women over men. This is us working together
Yes.
for a better world. Yeah, so definitely both men and women collaboratively break the bias.
Okay, so Abella, before letting you go, I have one last question for you. We talked about a lot of things about should be done and women empowerment and everything else. But the aim of Rising Women Initiative was to empower and inspire young female who wants to become leaders in the future, and the female who are watching you right now. What piece of advice do you have for them, like for those who are starting to work right now? Do you have anything to say to them if they're watching right now?
One is seize your future or your career. Don't let gender be a limit, right? Seek and gain knowledge because it builds your confidence. Use your strength. Yeah. So if you have been blessed with nurturing skills or spirit, bring it on board.
Okay.
It definitely helps, especially when it comes to like team collaboration. Yeah. So bring your full self to the workplace or wherever you are to bring that diversity. And be
Yes.
unapologetically strong.
Okay.
Never give up. Never give up.
No matter what.
No matter what. I spoke about sacrifices, so I'll share some few tips. Pregnant, having a great date, dada, it's an asset. It's probably the most precious asset.
Now you're scaring me.
No, support systems are very, very important.
Okay.
Extremely important. Nobody does it alone. I'm not here because I am any special and better, more talented, nothing, but the support system that I have and the people in my life. So definitely have a support system, and that means have a career coach. I think this, actually, a lot of us don't do this early in our career, and it could make a huge difference. Have a career coach, have a career mentor, have sponsors within the organization you are in as well as outside. It really, really makes a huge difference. Kuwa na kielele kizuri.
Kielele kizuri how?
Yes. I recall an incident back in my early career days. We had been hit by a virus, and I told the IT and billing director, back then I was actually a system administrator, and I told the IT and billing director that if you give me 3 days, I'll actually fix this issue. And there was actually no solutions on the table, so he was like, yeah, go ahead. Then in 3 days, I was able to actually achieve that, and within an hour, I got promoted. So,
wow.
Kiherehere kizuri, proactiveness Kiingereza, lakini kiherehere. But seeing is believing. We have a female president.
Yes.
I think for young girls, it's an opportunity to actually study, analyze, defend, debate, and on actually how Tanzania as a country is prospering under the leadership of our excellent Samia Suluhu Hassan, Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Yeah, because I think you need role models, and having her, it's such an opportunity for people to learn. So for women, for young girls, for the girl child, observe, copy, emulate, and do your own thing as well. For the men, think of your loved ones. Come to party to make Tanzania a better place, a better place for your daughters, your mother, your sister, your wife, your aunts. Yeah, let's break the bias.
Thank you very much, Abella. This was an amazing discussion that we had. I thank you for your time, for agreeing to do this with us today. I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this have learned a lot of things from you, because personally I have, and I appreciate you being here and talk to us about your journey and everything else. So thank you very much. So that was it for today, guys. My name is Anna Potness, and I was with Miss Abella Tarimo, who is Head of Customer Experience at NMB Bank. We talked about a lot of things concerning women empowerment. I am sure you have learned a lot of things from her, and thank you very much for your time. See you next time. Bye now.